I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Right.
Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
Anyone claiming that America's economy is in decline is peddling fiction.
I've abandoned free market principles to save the free market system.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Raising the debt ceilings does not increase our debt. It does not somehow promote profligacy.
I know words. I have the best words. Nobody knows the system better than me, which is why I alone can fix it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Peddling Fiction Podcast. I am your host, the voice and soul of so-called fiction, Johnny Profita. And of course, back with me is the one and only Justin Hillbilly Boy Campbell. What's happening over there, Hillbilly Land?
It went and got hot.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and we had some nice, cooler fall-like weather for about a week and a half, and this week it's back in the 90s every day. And on Sunday, it was pretty warm when I woke up because I worked Saturday night. So when I woke up Sunday afternoon, walked in the house, I was like, it's kind of warm. You want to close the windows and turn the air back on? And Stephanie goes, "Suck it up." She said, "We can do this. We're not going to turn the air back on." Yesterday morning, before she left for work, she goes, "It's kind of hot. I think we should turn the windows or close the windows and turn the air back on." I was like, oh, today we should. What happened to yesterday? Whenever I wasn't even worried about it. I was going to work. I was already prepared to sweat my balls off because if it's hot outside, it's even hotter in the warehouse. So I wasn't worried about it. I was just trying to help her out, but yeah, she changed her tune real quick.
Yeah, mid-September for AC. That's not ideal, but she saved you one day of a extra electric bill.
In the Midwest, we call this false fall, and then we get second summer. So we'll do second summer for a couple weeks, and then we might get real fall if we get lucky.
Right on. Well, I'm just sitting here waiting for the earthquake any day now.
Oh yeah, it's crazy that y'all have earthquake season.
Yeah, September 19th is the fated day. So that's Friday. There might, we're supposed to do a podcast. Hopefully everything will go according to plan. But
yes, everything will go according to plan, and everybody will get to witness your building collapse in the earthquake live on stream. It'll be the most viewed show we've ever had. I will honor your memory by just plastering it everywhere. Watch an entire building collapse live in the middle of a show.
And then all these retarded leftists will be dancing on my grave. Could you imagine if they took some of my clips out of context and started throwing them up on the internet?
It's a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good thing to work for yourself, because I already can tell you what happens when they take your stuff out of context and try to get you fired.
Yeah. I mean, unless they can somehow get me banned from the New York Stock Exchange, I think I'm okay. I think I'll be okay. But we do have continued fallout from the murder of Charlie Kirk and the subsequent reaction. I mean, I find the reaction to these types of things just so much more fascinating than the actual event itself. I mean, people are going to die. Unfortunately, people are going to be murdered. And, you can't really, I was saying this on Twitter, you can't control the things that happen to you, but you can control how you react to them. And the reaction to this has been disgusting on the left. And then there's just been overkill. I think the other direction on the right is they're starting to kind of lose the plot a little bit. So I don't know where you want to start.
That's a good place to start, is losing the plot, because that's where you end up getting shit like this with Pam Bondi and what she said today.
There's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people, so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle.
Okay. I don't think what she meant was hate speech, but that's the word she used. And that's where she needs to really clarify. So making violent threats, instigation of violence, that kind of stuff, that's not hate speech. That is actually criminal. And they should do something about that. But in calling it hate speech, she has now kicked off this whole fucking bullshit around what is hate speech. Hate speech doesn't exist. She needs to, and that's the problem, is words are important. The left never understood that, and now the right is losing the plot where that is concerned. Hey, when you spend 10 years calling everybody to the right of fucking Hillary Clinton a Nazi and a fascist, that gets in people's heads. When you start talking about hate speech and stuff like that, it creates the wrong image. Like, you need to be very careful with the way they talk about this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if you run the counterfactual and this was the left screaming about hate speech because something Donald Trump said was offensive, they'd be calling them, pussies, snowflakes, social justice warrior, snowflake, like microaggressions and shit like that. And there is another clip of her where she talks about how like employers have an obligation to fire somebody for saying like horrible things, and then she elaborates, and I think she touches on the fact that like threatening more violent, like actually threatening to kill like the rest of his family or something, like that's one thing. But yeah, dude, hate speech it only exists in the minds of these fucking pussies. Like I don't know how to put it. Like, you're allowed to say hateful things.
Well, and that's so saying that employers should be required to fire them. Again, that's problematic. It's at the employee, and that's at the employer's discretion. Also, yes. And like, talking about losing the plot. I saw a friend on Facebook had shared a thing that somebody had posted of somebody saying terrible things after Charlie Kirk's death. What they said was in poor taste, but it wasn't what I would consider celebration of death. It wasn't like what you see with some of these. They're like, do Donald Trump next, do Elon Musk next, like, that kind of shit. There are lines that get crossed. And so, yeah, the right has started to kind of lose the plot. And I get it. I don't blame them, the ones who are, hunting people down on social media and trying to get them fired and stuff. After a decade plus of the way that the left has weaponized cancel culture just for disagreeing with what they say. Like, that's the big difference, is they just went after people for basic disagreements and a lot of times memes and jokes, whereas the right has been going after the people who have been lionizing and celebrating and cheering for death and calling for, putting out their lists of do so and so next, and stuff like that. That there's a big difference, and to say that there's not a difference is just straight up ignorance. But once you've started to cross over into that, just going after anybody that said something a little bit in poor taste, that's where we Like that's where they've started to lose the plot.
Yeah. And you know what's frustrating is the left can't even do their own, like they can't even do whataboutism correctly. Like they cannot compare two things that are comparable. It's the most ridiculous. Like, oh, well, what about making fun of Paul Pelosi when he got hit with the hammer? It's like, okay, first of all, he didn't die. So there's one big fucking difference right there. And then that whole scenario was so fucking bizarre. Like, there is funny in that. There is some humor to be found in the fact that he was like in his underwear with a drink standing next to this guy. And then the cop had like the guy had like a really funny reaction to the cop. Like that whole thing was bizarre. And Paul Pelosi did not die. So
right,
like,
they're both like standing there. They're both like standing there, and when the cops come to the door, like holding hands or something.
Like, you want to put that hammer down? He's like, nope.
and then all of a sudden he just starts whacking him with this. Yeah, it was fucking hilarious. And to be perfectly clear, what people were doing was laughing and making fun of and making jokes about how weird and just unusual the whole, like nobody was like, oh yeah, Paul Pelosi should have died. It's too bad he didn't get Nancy too. And like, no.
Right. And if he had died, I think the reaction would have been a lot different.
That was like a lot of them bring up the Minnesota congresswoman that got shot. She and her husband got shot a couple weeks ago. It was like,
and nobody knows who she is. I mean, here's a big difference. Like, with all due respect to her and her family, like that is a horrible thing to happen, but like nobody knows who the fuck you are. Nobody.
And also nobody was out cheering it. Like everybody heard about it. It's like, oh, that's.
But we didn't lower the flags to half staff, Justin.
Yeah, that's the real problem here is that they need they want because the left cares so much and has so much respect for the flag. That's what they want, is the flag to be lowered to half staff.
I know, dude. It is like, it's just so frustrating to have to deal with them. And then, well, back to the Pam Bondi thing. The other thing she did say was in that clip that I was referencing that we didn't play was that she can prosecute businesses for refusing to serve people. Remember, did you see the Office Max that wouldn't print the poster of Charlie Kirk for the vigil? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the two employees who refused to do it, they got fired. Did you see the picture of them? Like they look,
of course, dude. They look exactly how you would imagine. Exactly. Like big, fat, ugly, non-binary, like blobs, dude. I don't even know how, they're like amoebas, like human amoebas.
All right, these people are barely even shaped like humans. Like just the fact that it's a body with a head stuck to it is about as close as they get. But like just to look at them, they are amorphous blobs.
Yeah, and again, dude, that's another thing that I utterly disagree with Pam Bondi on. Like, you have the right to refuse service to anyone. But yeah, I mean, if that's my Office Depot, well, first of all, I would never hire those people to begin with. Like, I would take one look at them and just like pretty much laugh them out of the fucking interview. but like, I would be very upset if people are turning away fucking business like that. And they're claiming, oh, we're not going to print it because it's propaganda. It's like, okay.
Speaking of, like, I wouldn't hire them to begin with. Remember not too long ago when there was a study that came out that showed like people who put their pronouns in their resume and stuff were less likely to get a job. It's like, yeah, because you can look at especially the ones that use like they, them pronouns or something other than like normal, just he, she, or he, him, she, her type stuff. It's like, yeah, because obviously like you're probably going to be a problem, and nobody wants to just deliberately bring in somebody that's going to be a problem like that.
Yeah, I mean, and also you're just like like an unhappy person. I've never seen one person that like voluntarily puts their pronouns in their bio and everything. That seems like a genuinely happy person. There's pronouns in the bio, and then another one that I find absolutely hilarious is where they say my opinions are my own. If they have that written in their profile, I promise you they have the most retarded opinions. There's nobody with a good opinion ever that puts opinions are my own in their bio. I've never seen it. I have seen it in every fucking retarded person out there. Pronouns and opinions are my own. It's like, yeah, we know. And they're not their own, by the way. It's like the NPC programming. It's the funniest, like
right.
Yes,
you don't have a
fucking
single independent thought in your head. You just parrot whatever you've been told. But yeah, your opinions are totally your own.
So yeah, dude, the Pam Bondi, like she really has been a disappointment, I think, for the as far as Trump appointees go, and there's been kind of disappointments across the board as far as the the Epstein files, Bongino and Cash Patel and everything, and then Pam Bondi like completely fucking botched that thing, and now she's out here talking about hate speech and targeting people that say things that she doesn't like, and like prosecuting employers for what would happen if they were forcing the fucking the Christian guy to bake the gay cake, right? They're for that now, just let the fucking employer, like they got their comeuppance, the employer dealt with it. You don't need the government to come in here and start policing this kind of shit. I love that word, comeuppance.
I think it's like, oh, you want revenge on the left? It's like, I don't view it as revenge. It is comeuppance. This is the game that they chose to play on the terms that they chose to play it on is now being played back, and they suddenly don't like it. It's like that's where we are.
Yeah, I'm thinking a lot about, because it's the cancel culture and the hypocrisy, and like, oh yeah, all of a sudden the left is very concerned with being a hypocrite. But there is a difference between the cancel culture that originated a few years ago and what's happening now. Like, nobody's going back through 10, 15 years of your tweets and applying like current crazy Trump derangement syndrome values, I guess, to something that was said 10 or 15 years ago. I mean, just think of how much normal the world was 15 years ago. Like if you had just said like, yeah, a man's a man, a woman's a woman 15 years ago, that would not have been very controversial.
Right. And
now it'll get you shot in the throat. So like, nobody's going back through like historical tweets and trying to apply some modern day thing to it and getting you fired. Like, they're doing this kind of in real time. Like, you're choosing to post like vile shit, and they're just kind of letting your employer know. You'd be like, hey, and like a lot of the times it's like we were talking about on the last episode, it's people that you don't want like working with children, being your anesthesiologist or something. Did you see that one post where that chick was bragging about, she's like, oh, I off these people randomly, like this nurse? She like literally admitted, she said this. She's like bragging that she randomly selects people to kill in the hospital because she can tell that they're like Republicans or something. I don't know what the result of that is, but like,
that's admission of murder. She should at least be like arrested, jailed, and then and then investigate and find out what's actually going on. She'll come back and be, oh no, I just meant as a joke. I don't actually do that. It's like, all right, too bad. Like, you get to go sit in a jail cell until we figure out whether or not you were serious or joking. Like, and that's not cancel culture. That is comeuppance. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, and you deserve. And also, like, that just fucking further turns me against the medical industry. Like, there's a very high probability that I'm going to have anesthesia to have this fixed whether they do the balloon or they do surgery. I'm going to have anesthesia to get this fixed in fucking like super blue Evansville. Make me feel real good about,
Yeah. And you would like, dude, it's just the fact that just everything gets is so politically charged now is really like, you would think you'd be able to go to a doctor and you wouldn't have to concern yourselves with these kinds of things.
Right.
But
You don't have
this
to,
is the cancer that is government.
Right. You shouldn't have to worry about, is my nurse a psychotic leftist?
Right. And oh man, dude, yeah, I saw some other like, so they're running with this narrative. Like, first of all, I guess the last black op-ed writer for the Washington Post lost their job. Did you see that?
I did not.
I don't think I have any of it flagged, but basically what happened was she posted that Charlie Kirk, and then, like, I can't tell you how many times I saw somebody put quotation marks around words, attribute them to Charlie Kirk, and it's not even close to the exact quote. Like, they are living in like a completely different reality, I guess. But this was he said that black women don't have like the mental capacity for like to be smart or something, and they had to steal a white person's job. He did not say black women. He specifically named like 3 retarded black women. It was like Joy Reid, Michelle Obama, and Ketanji Brown Jackson, I think.
Oh, okay. So this was one that
somebody. So hang on before you get into that. So this is a journalist who misquoted somebody, attributed it as like an exact quote, and got fired for it. Yeah. But then, of course, they run with the story. All I did was post his quotes. It's like, no, you didn't. You manipulated his quotes to make it look a lot worse than it was.
Right. You're supposed to be a trustworthy journalist, and instead, even if you're doing op-ed, like, this is deliberately misrepresenting what he actually said. Yeah, somebody had come at me with the Joy Reid, Ketanji Brown Jackson, and Michelle Obama thing, and I said, well, I mean, Ketanji Brown Jackson was literally a DEI hire. They explicitly said that they were going to pick a woman of color, and if you look at her opinions on recent Supreme Court rulings, she has pretty sufficiently shown she does not actually understand constitutional law, and has even literally said as much, that she's not good at constitutional law, but she thinks it's a platform to make some sort of like social justice commentary. It's like, that is not the job. She obviously is not deserving of or qualified for the job. This isn't like controversial. It's just facts.
Yeah, and that, I mean, there's like a 2+ minute compilation out there of the most controversial things that Charlie Kirk had said, and this is how they're trying to paint him. And it's that quote. It's you know, a lot of like the black crime statistics, how like white people are much more likely to be, you know, killed or robbed by a black person, whatever the stat is. He rattles that off, which again is factually accurate.
That was an argument I had with somebody on Facebook. They're like, oh, he said all of this untrue stuff. I said, nothing he said was untrue. I said, you just don't like the truth that he told. And they're like, what about this and this and this and this and this? I'm like, here's the actual statistics. This is where he got every single one of these 100% right. You just don't like it. And then I got blocked.
Yeah. I mean, and then there was some stuff in there, like he's talking about like relationship stuff with women. You know, he's like a very like traditional. He wants like he's like, submit to your husband or something that he said. And I mean, I don't necessarily agree with a lot of his like relationship stuff, but like, again,
it's
not
traditional, very traditional conservative Christian type value stuff. Not illegal, not wrong. You might not agree with it or like it, but that doesn't make anything like that. Doesn't make it something that would warrant being shot in the neck.
Yeah. So it's like, I can't tell you how many times I saw somebody. I mean, I guess you could go through my Twitter because a lot of times I would comment on it. Like, I don't think you know what quotation marks are for. Like, they will put quotation marks around it, type it out, and then play the clip below it. And you can listen to the clip, and it's not what he said. It's like completely different.
One like the one they said, oh, Charlie Kirk says he doesn't believe in empathy. Like, no, that's not what he said. What he actually said was empathy is a made-up word for our current culture. He believes in sympathy because there's no way that I can empathize with you. I've never actually walked in your shoes or lived the experience that you're living, but I can sympathize with you. Like, yes. They're like, oh, Charlie Kirk doesn't believe in empathy. That's literally not what he said.
And of course, these are the people that's like, oh, you have no idea what it's like to be a black man in the U.S. Like, you could never understand that. And he's like, yeah, you guys just agreed, actually.
Correct. Yes.
I can sympathize with your plight as a black man, but I could never understand it. Because I ain't black. That was his fucking point. And it's like, yeah, that's not like, again, dude, this is, I mean, if that's what you got, that ain't much, man. That really isn't much. And then if you actually like sit down, he did a really, I listened to him on the Iced Coffee Hour. Do you ever listen to that podcast? I actually really enjoy that one. Like, he sat down with those guys for like over an hour. And I mean, dude, and it's not really like, a lot of it's not really about politics. It's just kind of about him and like how, the things that like it's more of a financial podcast, I guess. They do touch on some political things and some like social things, but it's not really about that. And it's like, dude, if you just, I think if people would just watch one full form thing of his, you'd be like, okay, yeah, like, I don't get Nazi from that. Like,
well, did you see where Stephen King said that Charlie Kirk wanted gay people to be stoned to death, and then he apologized and walked it back, and then he got his books pulled by one of his big publishers.
I didn't see that. Yeah, and it's like, okay, like I getting the apology is like, okay, I got that wrong. Like, that was pretty refreshing. You almost never see that on Twitter or X or whatever, but like the sentiment of the tweet was wrong to begin with. Like, even if you had gotten it wrong, like the only reason he shouldn't have tweeted that was because it was factually incorrect and not because it was like just a dick thing to fucking tweet anyway. You know what I mean? So like the spirit of the tweet, I think, was just wrong either way, even if it was true, which of course it wasn't. And I mean, dude, I just can't think of a time where they get anything right. They're still rolling with this, he was a Christian conservative gun nut or whatever. Like, he's a groiper, and Charlie Kirk wasn't far enough right wing. That's why he killed him.
Dodo Groiper, here's his furry tranny boyfriend.
Yeah. So since then it comes out, he's been living with, and it sounds like he was in a relationship with a transitioning furry. We have the stuff that was written on the ammunition, which is like fur, like one of them's like a furry thing. Another one's an Antifa song. And then the other one's like, hey, fascist, catch. Okay. And it sounds like there's like a network of these trans on Discord or whatever, or they were texting back and forth. I've seen a couple of their posts like on Twitter that it sounds like they knew something was going to happen. They were saying, no, something's going to happen. Like, something big's going to happen tomorrow to Charlie Kirk. There's like three posts like that. So I don't exactly know what to make of that, but it's certainly not like a Groiper thing. Like, oh yeah, he was a big Nick Fuentes fan, even though there's just no evidence of that.
And Fuentes has been one of the most outspoken, and even like not like Fuentes is a total Groiper, and I cringe just about every time I hear the dude, but he's actually been pretty good on his position on a lot of this stuff, which is fucking nuts.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen them circulate. I've never really listened to anything that he's had to say. I just, you see clips every once in a while, and yeah, I kind of feel the same way. But they were posting these clips of him like ranting again, calling Charlie Kirk all kinds of names and whatever. I don't know how recent those are. So okay, yeah, like they don't like Charlie Kirk, but again, there's just no evidence that this kid was following Nick Fuentes. All the evidence is to the contrary, and they just still roll with it. There was the who's that? Destiny, the guy with the stripper's name. That fucking cuck was on Piers Morgan. Yes, it was I don't know. I think it aired yesterday, and he's just completely lost. Like, he's just a weird guy, man. It sounds like he's on fucking speed or something. Like, he's just rambling. He won't shut up, and he's saying like the most retarded things. And then in this clip, we might have to fast forward this a little. Is this the 5-minute one? Yeah, move it forward like a minute or I don't know if you want to play the whole thing. Anna Kasparian like really puts him in his place, and this is like exactly the kind of, when we wrapped the last show, I was like, this is what we need to see from the left, and Anna Kasparian just goes off on this fucking guy.
If somebody puts a beat down on Destiny, I am willing to watch the whole 5 minutes.
All right.
Because all they care about clicks and YouTube streams and likes. Go to the casket. Go to the gravesite. Go talk to the widow. I don't even know how to discuss this with someone who's completely lost all touch with reality.
Yeah, I mean, Anna.
What's Jack's answer to why can't the president say we should all be less violent?
Right. Because you can't even condemn the cold-blooded execution of Charlie
Donald Trump
Kirk.
turns on Destiny.
I don't think you're in the position to
says,
demand anything from anybody
on YouTube. That's how I'm going to take my.
You're
my
not in any position to condemn anybody for anything. You won't condemn a cold-blooded murder.
He's the president of the United States. He's the president of the United States. No one here can answer that question.
Basic humanity says the murder was horrific.
Can't say
why can't
all
you
of us
say
need
it?
to be less violent.
Why can't
Democrats
you say
have been
it,
saying
Destiny?
for over a decade.
To say the murder was horrific and unacceptable.
Why can't Donald Trump say it?
You can't do
why
it,
does
can
no one
you?
hear any words for Donald Trump?
All right, Anna Kasparian.
Donald Trump. Nothing exactly.
Anna Kasparian. To me, this is what I'm talking about. That I think there is an element of the left, the hard woke left, that have completely lost their minds. If you are not able to just outright simply condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk, and if you cannot stop yourself from mocking his grieving widow, you are sick, as I've just seen from Destiny. It's a
sick thing
mindset.
is weaponizing a widow's grief to try to do recruitment for your political party. That's probably one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. She's showing up in emails for recruitment drives for TPUSA.
Destiny? What did you think the assassination of a political figure would do? What did you think the outcome was going to be? What did you think the outcome was? And by the way,
are you asking
really,
me for the pragmatic
your
outcome,
behavior?
or are you asking
hold
me
on.
for?
Let me. Hey, how about take it easy on the Adderall? Take it easy on the Adderall, and let me answer the question that Pierce asked me.
You must have been really bullied today.
My
behavior,
my behavior is not reliant on how anyone else behaves. Every morning I wake up and I make decisions about how I choose to react or respond to things. I don't wake up in the morning, check what Donald Trump has to say, and then base my own personal behavior on his behavior. I agree with you in that it would be very helpful to have the leader of this country want to turn the temperature down. And he hasn't done that. I agree with you on that. But that doesn't change the way I choose to respond to what's going on. The idea of mocking a woman who is now a widow with 2 young children who witnessed her husband get shot in the neck and bleed out to death. How can you mock that? What is wrong with you? I just don't understand it. That's it. I don't understand it. I don't understand you, Destiny. You have so much hatred in your heart, and at the same time, you
it's such a simple thing.
others
If you're
as
going to
hateful.
weaponize somebody's grief against the other party, well, then of course people have a right to fight back against it. I think that she has every right to grieve in whatever way she wants, but when that grief is going to be weaponized to do recruitment, political recruitment, and further radicalization of the other side, then of course you not only have the ability to mock it, I think you have the obligation to mock it. It's insane.
Let me understand. Let me understand your argument. So since others are using her grief to politically recruit, you think that it's okay to mock her specifically?
Since others
How
are
does that make
using
any
her grief,
sense?
she's the one who gave a 17-minute speech on TV where she talked about good versus evil. She's the one showing up in
Destiny, let me
TPUSA
explain-
ads to
let
1
me
or 2
explain
days
something to
after.
you. If someone assassinated my husband, I would not be able to have the level of composure she had during that speech. I would be out for blood. I understand why she's angry and why she said the things that she said. Okay, you need to understand what being a human is, what it's like to actually lose someone that you love, that you chose to spend your life with, that you chose to raise children with, a person who was violently and viciously assassinated like that. This is why I've moved
That's fine.
away
And when
from
something I know, yes,
identifying
because
as
you got bullied online. It's so funny. It's so funny that you just
so
said that you
embarrassing on
don't
the
think about
left.
how other people act to define your behavior. Your entire political ideology now is somehow defined by the people that were mean to you on Twitter.
No,
if somebody
it's
cares
not.
about somebody who's
No,
grieving,
I understood
then you tell that
what
person,
the flaws
you
on
tell
the
that
left
person,
happen to
hey,
be. The
maybe you
weakness
should
in their
step back for a
arguments.
couple of
No,
weeks.
no, it's
Maybe you
not
should
about
take
the
some
way
time
I
to
get
grieve.
treated.
You don't
I get
say,
treated
hey, let's
like
throw a
crap from
camera in
both
front
sides
of
of the
you and have
political
you do
aisle.
mass recruitment for our political party while everyone over here is calling for civil war. It's unhinged. When you've got people like Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire, and the
we're
president
talking
of the
to a
United States
guy
calling
who
for
said
civil
he'd be
war.
okay with his own parents getting killed if they went to that Trump rally where that assassination
Yeah,
attempt
and we're talking
happened.
to a
There's
woman
no
who went
reasoning
on and
with
did
you,
the whole
Destiny.
conservative media
There's
outlet with
there's
Tucker
no
Carlson
reasoning
and
with
Glenn
you.
Beck and had
Okay.
nothing bad to say whatsoever. I know where your bread is buttered. I know where
And
you're
it was
making your money
great. I
from.
had
Okay, that's
awesome
great.
conversations.
I
I don't regret it at
I know,
all.
that's great.
I also had a
Keep up with the
conversation
personal
with Jack
attacks 'cause you're
Posobiec
so
on her
brain
take. It was
broken.
awesome.
Yeah, I know.
That's
Jack,
what
the guy over there that gets
democracy is
paid
about.
by
Having
Russia
an
that
exchange
lies
of
when every other thing
ideas.
that comes out of his
Yeah.
mouth. Yeah,
All
great.
right, let
That's
me
a good
bring
one.
in.
Right.
Let me
Very
bring
I don't
in.
agree with
Whew. Destiny is a fucking retard.
It really is something, man. Like he's got to be like he's like easy on the Adderall. Like he's got to be on something. That is not a normal human being. Like how hard is it to do what she just did? Like just smack down this retardedness, this vile retardedness. If there was a lot more of that, just like full-throated denunciation of that type of behavior, I think it would go a long way. And just all this bending over backwards to try to make it like, oh, you know, he's not a leftist, he's this, he's that. Like, just come out and do that. And like, okay, like maybe we can move on from this. But to just like be doubling and tripling down on these ridiculous takes and then coming up with ways to justify what people are doing and be like, and then like the whataboutism, it's just like, yo, dude, you guys, you can just be like, yo, that was a fucking horrible thing. I hope it never happens again. I don't like Charlie Kirk. I don't care for his message, but like, this is awful. And then it's done. Like, it's not that hard to do that. It's so much easier than all this like mental gymnastics and this bending over backwards to try to justify the most unjustifiable reactions. I don't know. It's what's that Destiny guy? Jesus Christ, dude. What a I still don't understand like how he has a following. I've never understood that. But he is just like he's like his whole thing on that show was like, well, we're not going to tone down the rhetoric until Donald Trump says we need to tone down the rhetoric.
Well, and speaking of that, I just happened to see a comment on that post, so I went to Grok and said that he actually did a stream where he encouraged his followers that they should be committing further acts of violence. And I was like, all right, Grok, did Destiny actually encourage his followers to commit further acts of violence on a stream? During a live stream on September 15th, Destiny stated, you need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events, so they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature. How the fuck is that turning down the temperature, you worthless piece of fucking shit? Holy fuck. Like, I've never wished death on somebody, but I'm starting to reconsider that position. That's fucking horrible. That right there, that is incitement of violence. And in that case, Pam Bondi is right. They should haul that motherfucker off to jail.
Right. And he's like, well, if Donald Trump doesn't say it, then I'm not going to say it. That was his whole position. He's like, Donald Trump needs to say it first. It's like, you mean the guy that they shot? He's got to come out and be the bigger, like, we all know that Donald Trump's not going to, like, he's not going to be the bigger man in most situations. But, like, they act like this stuff just happens in a vacuum and there's no fucking history here. It's just like, well, what about that lady and her husband and the dog that were killed? It's like, yeah, that was bad. And it sounds like that was because she voted with Republicans on some bill that, again, like nobody pays attention to any of this stuff. Like, it's a very obscure thing. Like, they took a shot at Donald Trump almost twice. They've tried to kill him. They came very inches away from killing him. Then they just killed one of his friends. And it's like, yeah, it's going to have to come from the left first. I'm sorry. You can't just be like, oh, well, what, they made fun of Nancy Pelosi after her husband got hit in the head with a hammer. It's like, yeah, okay.
They have spent a decade and a half plus ramping up the rhetoric. Yeah, but now, a week after Charlie Kirk gets shot in the neck, it's Republicans' job to tone it down. When are y'all going to tone it down?
Right. Well, after they do, is Destiny's position. After they do, we will. Okay. Like, forgive me if I don't buy that. I mean, they had a chance to tone it down after the bullet hit Trump's ear,
and they chose not to. They chose to double down.
Yeah, on, again, retarded conspiracy theory. Like, I was joking. I was like, dude, if we didn't have like the deranged right wing of America, we would have no good conspiracy theories, because the left is just fucking god awful at it. Absolutely like they cannot come up with a plausible conspiracy theory to save their lives. None of it makes any sense.
Well, and then, so talking about all of this and the rhetoric and all of it getting ramped up, and the right not being willing to try to cool it down, cool the temperature down, or tone it down or whatever. When you've got multiple different news stories of the justice system completely failing to actually deliver justice in any way, like that doesn't really help the scenario. Like, we've got, so the guy, we talked about it last week, the Ariane Zartuska, the Ukrainian girl that got stabbed on the train. DeCarlos Brown Jr. Has been transferred from jail to Central Regional Hospital in Butner, North Carolina, for a psychiatric evaluation to determine his competency to stand trial. He was competent enough to get arrested 14 separate fucking times. He was competent enough to pull a knife out of his pocket, line it up, and stab her multiple times, and then walk off of the train. He's competent enough to be set on the front steps of the courthouse and have a bullet put between his eyes. That is it. Like, there is no competency test here that needs to be done. And somebody else talked about this because as we've got that coming out, there's also another story where, hang on, let me find it. I just had it right there. Where a man accused of abducting a sleeping Dallas boy from his bed and killing him is found incompetent for trial. And this guy's been let go, basically. Like, what somebody had commented on and mentioned with this is this competency to stand trial is supposed to mean somebody that is so far gone, they have no idea what they've done. They can't even, like, their mind is so fucking destroyed that they cannot even fathom what they did, much less that it was wrong. Like, they don't know it. And then those people are supposed to be taken to a psychiatric hospital and never allowed to see the public again. They're supposed to be locked away forever where they can never, ever hurt anybody again. Instead, what they're doing is they're letting these motherfuckers out on the street. You want to see, like, you want vigilante justice? Keep pulling this kind of fucking shit. People are going to lose their patience with it and start taking matters into their own hands. Like, if the justice system is going to continue to be an abject fucking failure like this, where it just keeps doing this catch and release bullshit, not catch and release with like non-violent drug offenders or some other bullshit. Like actual fucking murderers, it's gonna get bad. Like this is how you make it really, really, like it's already bad. This is how you make it infinitely worse.
Yeah, like you said, I mean that's not the point of competency to stand trial. They cannot be allowed. Like if you're not competent enough to stand trial, then you're not competent enough to rejoin society either. Either way, you're supposed to be locked up, maybe in a psychiatric ward, but that's like at a minimum. And this guy's on fucking video stabbing somebody to death. Like we don't even need it. The trial is just kind of a formality at this point.
And talking to people after he did it, like they've got him talking to people like a normal human being after he did it. Like, yeah, I just stabbed that chick. Like that is competent. That is competence. Like he knew what he did. It was a willful act. That's it. That's all the competence I need to see.
Yeah. Oh God, dude. Yeah. Oh man, these judges, these prosecutors, I can't say I'm surprised that this is where we're at based on the last few years.
Here's a sheriff in Colorado talking about somebody that's being released for being found incompetent to stand trial, and like just look at how fucked up this is.
It's a very violent crime, and how rapidly this person has accumulated contacts with law enforcement. It's concerning.
Weld County Sheriff Steve Reams is warning his residents of a man he released from jail, not by his own choosing, but because the suspect was ruled incompetent to stand trial.
With that ruling, we're forced to release that individual.
That individual is Debisa Ephraim, a 21-year-old who Reams says is seen in these videos fighting northern Coloradans. The videos, too graphic to be shown in full, show men being knocked unconscious and then continuously punched in the face while lying on the ground.
He's a very dangerous person, and his actions, from what we can tell, were unprovoked.
So why did he walk free without ever seeing a jury? Reams says it's the result of House Bill 1034, signed into law last year by Governor Jared Polis. The law, at its core, said those found incompetent to stand trial should be sent to mental health care instead of incarceration. But that is contingent on the suspect qualifying for that care, which Ephraim did not, Reams says. So Monday morning, he walked free from charges like attempted murder and the cell that he lived in for the last 5 months.
This or the case that happened in Aurora with Solomon Galligan, those both are very giant highlights to the mistake that was made. It needs to be corrected. Someone's going to get hurt, and someone's going to get hurt bad. All I can do at this point is make them aware that this person is out and about, and pray that he doesn't re-enter those criminal actions. But quite honestly, without some legislative changes, I don't know how you address this concern.
Well, my name thing holds true. Debisa. You just go off the name. We could just start going off names. Yeah, I mean, dude, like what? I don't know, man. I don't even know what to say at this point. Like, just it's like we're missing the forest through the trees or something. Like, take a step back. Like, are we trying to have a society here? Or like, what's the goal? What's the end goal here?
I think the end goal for Democrats is to not have a society, to have a thing that is utter chaos, because as long as there is other chaos, the further that it goes into chaos, then the more people rely on government to protect them. Take away your guns, unleash criminals, and bring in violent immigrants and illegals and just let them all run loose, and then pray that the government does something to protect you after they take away your guns, where you don't have the ability to do so on your own.
I want a divorce. I want a fucking divorce. I think if the U.S. was like a fucking marriage and they went to a marriage counselor, they'd be like, yeah, it's time to break up. We can't even really find common ground on the Charlie Kirk assassination. It's like, I mean, that's it.
the people that were defending that Carlos Brown guy, like the Carlo Brown guy that stabbed the Ukrainian girl. It's like what the fuck? Like, how can you watch that video of this dude? Like, watch the whole thing. It's fucking awful. But watch the whole thing. She sits down and he just sits there and like eyeballs her and reaches into his pocket and pulls out a fucking knife and opens up the knife and looks at it and checks it. And then he just
He's
like
yeah, I'm gonna kill her.
Yeah, just lines himself up. And like, I mean, as soon as she sat down, he started lining this up. He like, oh man.
It's wild. It's wild. Yeah, people will defend it. They'll justify it. They'll make excuses. All kinds of excuses are being made for deplorable behavior. And I don't know. I don't want to live in a country with people like that. I think it's time to break up. I think it's time. But if you also don't want to live in a country like that, you should check out the Expat Money Summit, October 10th through the 12th. Go to expatmoney.com and register for free. Reserve your free spot, all online. They will teach you anything you need to know about relocating to Latin America as your plan B. Maybe physically, maybe just some of your finances. But this is going to be put on by a dear friend of the show, Mikkel Thorpe. He really knows. I mean, he's been following this stuff. It is very complicated to change countries, get residencies or citizenships in another country. And it really does seem like the U.S. is taking on quite a bit of water right now. It might be time to start considering jumping ship. And you want to have that. You want to have those balls in motion when the time comes. You don't want to have to be scrambling at the last second to try to figure out how to put your plan in place. So go to the expatmoneysummit.com, register for free. Or if you want, they have VIP access that you can pay for to get you some more content. October 10th through the 12th. All right. What else we got today?
Ooh, I found a fun little video while I was looking for other things and talking about other stuff.
Oh, we do have the Lisa Cook thing too. Yeah.
The what?
The Lisa Cook thing. I want to talk about. I'll follow up on that real quick.
This kind of attaches to everything else, and then we'll move to the Lisa Cook. This is a
perfect
kind of a funny video of like this is leftist ideology. This is leftist brain rot, basically.
Is it just me, or are you also surprised at the amount of MAGA people coming out of the woodworks? Like people you would have never thought were MAGA or kept their mouth shut in the past, but somehow Charlie Kirk is now the line. And now that he's not here, people are becoming very vocal on social media platforms when they were silent before. What is it about this particular person that's their line in the sand? I am genuinely asking that question because I'm not completely understanding it. I understand that some people view him as some kind of decent debater, which is confusing to me because he basically just used all logical fallacies in a debate and he never entered into any kind of good faith debate from anything I've ever seen. So he's not a good debater. He had terrible views that were incredibly racist, homophobic, misogynistic, and dangerous in general. So please help me understand. What am I missing?
Well, logical in fallacies. No, he just stated like factual statistics and information. And because that doesn't align with leftist ideology, you believed that these were fallacies, but actually they're just truth that you don't like.
Right. And I guess what she's missing is that there's like 50 million people that agree with Charlie Kirk on most things.
And most of those people, like we saw in 2016 with Trump's initial election, and have kind of seen a little bit more and more over the years, is it is the silent majority. It's the people that aren't being radical insanes on,
insane people on social media. It's people that just want to go to work, come home, have a family, like be left alone. And why is it different? Because Charlie Kirk was the moderate position. Charlie Kirk just tried to have conversations with people, and they fucking shot him in the neck. So now everybody who thought they could just be quiet and stay out of it realizes y'all aren't going to allow that. You want
they want to kill us. Like they literally want us. And then they watch the reaction to it as well. And it's all celebratory. Not all of it. I mean, obviously there are the Anna-Kasparians out there, but Bill Maher had a nice, had a good reaction to it as well. And then Stephen A. Smith, shout out to him. But like, there's way too many of these deranged reactions for people to just sit by and be like, oh yeah, like we're talking like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of them. So yeah, that's a little too many. That's more than just like a few fucking nut jobs here and there. And yeah, like she's like, oh yeah, she did everything but call him like a white supremacist Nazi or whatever. And it's like, okay, well then I guess there's like 50 million plus Nazis in the US. Because it like so many people align with Charlie Kirk ideologically. So many. And this does feel like it's the straw that broke the camel's back. They're only you can only turn the other cheek so many times from their perspective. And yeah, I think that's what you're missing. So if you think that is a Nazi, then you're in a country with at least 50 million. How many people voted for Donald Trump this time? 70 million?
More than that. It was more than that.
Okay. So like, I don't know. I know I'm sure he pulled some libertarians in because of the Ross Ulbright thing, but like you're talking 60 plus million people that agree with Charlie Kirk on like 90% of what he would say, at least, right? Like pretty run of the mill Republican Christian conservative values.
77 million is what he ended up with.
Yeah. So we're talking like at least fucking 60 million people probably agree with Charlie Kirk on most things. Yeah. So you just called 60 million people white supremacist Nazis that deserve to die. Okay. That's going to go over real well with them. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, the little follow-up to the Lisa Cook story. I believe some judges ruled that Donald Trump couldn't fire her for cause. I don't have that in front of me, but I found this pretty interesting to go along with these tactics that they're using to just sort of disparage Charlie Kirk. Is they've been which does that post I have, does that have the article in it?
I have the article.
Okay. So a bunch of people picked up this article. Which outlet was the article in? Was it the Washington Post?
I've got the Reuters one that was linked in the.
Oh, it's Reuters. Okay.
She declared her Atlanta property as a vacation home.
Yeah, this is exclusive from Reuters. Fed Governor Cook declared her vacation home as her second home, or Atlanta property as a vacation home. Documents show. Okay, so that headline right there, as we all know, 85% of people just read the headline, and so you say, "See, it's right there. The documents prove that this is just a witch hunt." Which I don't think they would be reviewing these documents if Donald Trump wasn't pushing for a rate cut that I think in all likelihood, we're going to get at least 25 basis points tomorrow, maybe as much as 50. But there you have it, right? Okay. So let's, which documents are we talking about, Justin? Because everybody picked up this and they were running with it on Twitter. See, she didn't do anything wrong. She listed it as a vacation home. Which documents? If you read the article, it was a loan estimate documents. In other words, dude, that's so much more damning than anything. So this, I mean, if they had the actual documents that said that, they would have used them, correct? I think we would have all used the actual documents instead of the estimates that come in first. So this to me indicates that she filled out the loan estimate doc and saw the fucking rate that she was going to get if she listed it as a vacation home, and then said, oh shit, I don't want to pay that. Let me list it as a primary residence on the real actual documents. And I used to review these documents for a living. You get like 3 loan estimate documents before you actually get the final docs. There's always at least 1 or 2 like these aren't the final documents. They're not. So why you would run with a fucking story using loan estimates that these documents change all the time. The estimate changes, the rate change. They're not final. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous to use this as evidence of anything. But the fact that they did instead of the final loan documents, to me, indicates that the final loan documents say otherwise. And this, to me, just proves, yeah, she probably didn't like that rate. So she said, oh shit, let me see what kind of rate I can get if I list it as my primary residence. Yep, let's go with that one because it's a better rate for me.
Right. The actual loan documents for the actual loan for the home, she listed it as a primary. And then for her tax filings, she listed it as a second home, not as a vacation home. Not sure that that's...
I don't know what kind of impact that has, but they pick up this, they pick this story up, they pick up the headline, they run with it. It's complete bullshit.
Well, and then they try to twist and talk about Trump.
What does that say?
It says, incredible, Trump drags the reputation of a highly regarded economist, first black woman to be a Fed gov, through the mud, claiming she committed mortgage fraud. But the documents his appointee to run for Fannie and Freddie got for him and that said showed fraud didn't actually happen. No, that's not what these documents say. Like,
right. But again, I mean, if we know anything about the retarded populace, like how many people are actually going to look at it? They're not. They're going to see the headline. They're going to get their confirmation bias and they're just going to roll with it. God damn, dude. It's so fucking frustrating. They don't have any credibility, but it's just so dishonest. And this is just one other example of how dishonest they are. And of course, you have all the Charlie Kirk stuff that we've already gone over, where it's just like, if he was literally fucking Hitler Youth or something, you wouldn't have to distort everything to make it look so bad. And it take 2 minutes of, I mean, I don't know how many thousands of hours he's talked. You take 2 minutes, condense it down like 12-second clips here and there to make him look, and it doesn't even, I mean, in my opinion, it doesn't even make him look that bad. Like, it really doesn't. But that's the worst that you can make it, is taking, I don't know, 50,000 hours of him talking over the last decade, condense it down into 2.5 minutes of 12-second clips, and then of course misquote him left and right. He said all black women. No, he didn't. He said these specific black women.
He said stone. He said stone the gays. No, he didn't. I like Dave Rubin's thing. He was like, Charlie Kirk never said anything bad to me ever. He was like, we literally had supper 2 weeks ago. He was like, he's visited with me. Like,
dude, there's a clip of him just smacking down this like really Christian conservative guy in the crowd that's asking him like why he's supporting like having like gays in the party or something, and he spends like 2 minutes like obliterating him. we could, I mean, if you really want to, we could play it. I'm not like misquoting him or anything. Like he literally he's like, so you're saying you don't want Peter Thiel in the party? You don't want like this gay dude? You don't want that gay dude? It's like, yeah, no, that's not Christian. So he, I don't know, dude. It is such a stretch to paint him in the light that they are. And it's just so unnecessary. It's just so fucking unnecessary. You could just be like a normal human being and be like, "Yep, that was fucked up. Shouldn't have done that." But yeah, they just got to double down, and then obviously it's Donald Trump's fault because he's not turning down the rhetoric, so we're not going to turn down the rhetoric. It's like, okay, well then I guess the rhetoric's never going to go down, and so we're just going to start shooting each other over our opinions.
Might not be a strong strategy considering which side has most of the guns.
Right, and knows how to use them. I mean, that was the other, like, that's how we knew. Like, I don't know. A lot of people were like, "Oh, I bet it was a tranny shooter." I was like, "No, it wasn't. He made the actual shot."
Boyfriend, tranny, or girlfriend.
Yeah,
whatever.
the boy. Yeah. He's dating a tranny. He lives with the tranny, but the tranny didn't take the shot. We played the clip of the trannies trying to shoot. They're not hitting anything from 200 yards.
Well, and people act like 200 yards is a long shot. Like it's not.
Right.
When you look at the gun, you look at the scope that was on it. It's like, yeah, that's a solid scope. Like that's not. I mean, and they're like, oh, he hit him in the neck. Obviously, this was an expert shot. It's like more likely than not, he was aiming center mass and the recoil got him. That's why, like, think about if you're a right-handed shooter, the way recoil hits. He was aiming center mass, recoil got him and brought it up.
I heard another theory where it's like he might have been aiming for a headshot and he miscalculated, like he didn't account for a wind drop or whatever.
Or possibly trying to go for a headshot, overcompensates for recoil and drops the barrel a little bit instead of the recoil pulling it back on him. He overcompensates for expected recoil. Like that's again, this 200 yards with a really good scope. This is not some trick shot that requires.
No, and I think the professionals usually aim center mass. But I'm sure a professional could put it, right between your eyes at 200 yards as well. Yeah.
I shot a deer in the neck similarly from 150 a couple years ago. It's not.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Yeah, like we said, I just don't think that's a game they want to play. And there could have been some sort of off ramp, maybe, but they don't seem to want to take it. And I don't know. This really feels like it's a moment, a pivotal moment, a turning point, if you will. So
couldn't resist.
Oh, the other thing I thought was interesting that I sent you that one article that girl got fired for giving him a tribute. On the show.
She
didn't get fired. She got put on.
She got put on suspension and then she resigned.
And she quit. Yeah.
She'll probably get a job with ONN or Newsmax, or maybe if she's even lucky, like might get all the way up to Fox.
Yeah, but again, like that was just so bizarre because she knew him.
There was a similar, which it was in. What was it, in Springfield, Illinois? So big city in Illinois. They probably skew the media in the city probably skews pretty left. So, they probably didn't appreciate that. Did you see the other thing? There was a nurse who reported a doctor that was posting some heinous shit, and she got suspended. And then the doctor ended up getting fired and she got reinstated. But like initially she got suspended. And it's entirely possible they suspended her right off the bat after she reported it, on the off chance that the doctor found out so that he couldn't try to retaliate or something like that. Like It's possible that they did the suspension for her own protection in the short term while they did the investigation or whatever. But like the fact that like people are getting suspended for being decent human beings is kind of it's also another reason why the rhetoric is not getting toned down, because like you keep seeing stories like that too.
Yeah, just those fucking petty cunts at Office Depot or whatever that wouldn't print out the poster for the guy. It's just like, what are you doing? What are you fucking doing? And then, yeah, that chick, it's not like some random broadcaster was just like, oh, I want to do a politically charged, tribute to. She knew him well, like worked with him. They were friends or something. And she's like, and it wasn't, I read the actual quotes that she said. It was not like a big political thing. So it's like, yeah, dude, I don't know. It was a friend of hers died. So she gave him an on-air tribute. It's like, we're going to suspend you for that. And I was like, yeah, fuck you. I would resign too.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, it's pretty obvious you're not wanted here. Like these are not your people, and this is not where you should be. What here's her. She said, I want you to know that it's okay if you feel sadness. It's okay if you're grieving. 2 days ago, I lost a mentor, my first boss, the person who made me believe in myself, that encouraged me to chase this dream that you're watching right now, Charlie Kirk. I want to share with you one of my favorite sayings that Charlie would always tell us at the office. He would yell it from the mountaintops, so please listen. When conservatives when conversations stop happening, when individuals become wordless, that's when violence begins. So if you do one thing today, make it be with passion, with conviction. Stand up for your friends, stand up for your beliefs, and speak loudly, even if your voice shakes. Your words have meaning, your values have purpose. Never forget that. Thank you, CK. You changed my life. That's the entirety of what she said, and that got her suspended.
That imagine that being a suspendable offense.
When conversations stop happening, when individuals become wordless, that's when violence begins. Why isn't the rhetoric getting toned down? Because that's the mantra of the guy you shot.
And these are, if that's not a threat to our democracy, if, shooting people that are exercising the very First Amendment, the foundational, like, if that's not a threat to our democracy or whatever, like, what is? So, yeah, that I just can't imagine. Again, dude, who's like, imagine being in that meeting or whatever. Like, I think we should suspend her for this.
Yeah, for real.
What? There's a lot of things you can get suspended for. That is not one of them. Not one of them. But yeah, okay. Good luck. That was like ABC something, some ABC affiliate, right?
Yeah, I think that's
right. All right. Oh boy. Well, I think that's it for today.
Yep, that should wrap us up. I got to go pick up my daughter. She's got choir wrapping up here in about an hour. So,
all right. You got anything else going on this week?
No, not that I can think of off the top of my head. We might have to talk about scheduling. So I've finally got my appointment to meet with the gastroenterologist to talk about getting all this shit fixed. So we might have to look at our schedule in a couple weeks, because there's a high probability that first or second week of October I'm not going to be available. But we'll work that out once we get there.
All right. Yeah, shouldn't be a problem. Let me know. Yeah, guess that's it. Might put out a Substack here over these next couple of days. We'll see. I don't know. I'm catching my fucking limit of the Charlie Kirk stuff.
I put out a Substack this morning, but usually the Substacks I write, I try to be more focused on religious type stuff. So it talks about the Bible and particular Bible verses. Although it does kind of relate to a lot of what we've seen going on, it's more spiritual. So if you
you're advocating for stoning gays?
100%. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Somebody, I did see like a really funny post that made it made me crack up. It was like, so he said Charlie Kirk has to be the most annoying dead guy ever. And it's like, I mean, that was funny, but it's not, he's not the one that's annoying. It's everybody fucking reacting to him in the most obnoxious way possible. He didn't do anything. But yeah, I think, I don't know. I need a break from all this. I can't just keep obsessing with it, but it's like, there's nothing else really going on.
I'll find fun, dumb, funny shit for Friday. Then I mean, I've already got a Cash Patel one lined up that's really funny. We'll find more stuff like that, and we'll make Friday a fun show. Return to the funness.
All right, and I think I think it's a happy hour night too, right?
I think that's right.
I think it is. So we'll be back on Friday with a brand new episode, hopefully a funny one. And a happy hour for the supporting listeners of the show. Until then, you guys know what to do. Just keep on peddling that so-called fiction. Peace.